Wrapping up, removing human drivers makes safety much harder for autonomous vehicles than for human-driven vehicles because humans are great at handling loose ends and dealing with surprises. Not perfect, but really remarkably good at compensating for all sorts of problems. In an autonomous vehicle, you're just not going to have that. So you need a couple things. Tactically, it's great to have a runtime safety monitor to respond to weird instances or problems and bring the vehicle to a safe state. But that alone won't do it. You need a way to know that you have problems before you're in a dangerous situation, hopefully, and a way to respond across the design cycle. And so strategically, the SPIs monitor not only individual vehicles, but look for trends across the fleet so that you can have feedback to make your system better. And you don't have to wait for a crash or a recall. This is not something you do once in a while. This is something you do every day as part of normal business. Field feedback on a daily basis is giving you a life cycle adaptation rather than waiting for a loss event, a crash, to be in the newspaper headlines before you make a change. SPIs predict and monitor system safety, and they give you a structured, principled way to do that rather than just thinking up what can I measure and what can I do with it. The KPIs are how well do we drive. Those are great to have. But the SPIs are how often are safety claims falsified. So sometimes they measure something dangerous happened in the real world. Sometimes they measure whether or not an assumption you made in the design has been violated. Sometimes they measure some sort of intermediate number that, well, it's supposed to be such and such a level and we're a little bit beyond that. Let's fix it before something bad happens. The idea is SPIs are supposed to detect safety problems before you have the crash the vast majority of the time. In other words, SPIs aren't about whether or not your vehicle is unsafe right this second. SPIs are much more about, well, you think you're a certain amount of safe because the safety case says that. And the SPIs are measuring, are you really as safe as you think you are? And if you want to get ahead of safety and have a safely deployed vehicle, you need to be proactive, and this is a way to do that. There's SPI guidance in ANSI UL 4600 Chapter 16 for more depth. And the big takeaway from this talk is that field feedback will be required for autonomous vehicle safety, but there's a principled way to do that, and that's by using SPIs tied to a safety case to provide a data-driven way to do life cycle safety adaptation.